Welcome to the Businessmen and Women of Color podcast series. I am your host, Anne Alston, CEO and founder of ALSTNTEC LLC, and it is my pleasure once again to bring you quality programs to all of you. Today we have three phenomenal guest speakers on the podcast today, and they're going to be talking to us about women entrepreneurship. They are here to share not only their stories, but also share their obstacle, challenges, success stories, and expectations, as well as give us great advice for any woman who is looking to venture out there to start her own business. So before I introduce them to the program, I would like to highlight just a few of my opinions about women entrepreneurship as it stands today. As a new business owner myself, I personally found it easy to just set up a name, a website, establish a business structure, and I did it as little as filling out a few forms. I paid the money and I waited for it to be processed. Now I'm a legalized business, and I'm pretty sure everybody can relate to that part of the process. However, this is not the hard part. The hard part is actually developing and implementing the business itself. Specifically, it takes effort and it takes a lot of time to develop and strategize, and just generally knowing what you need to do to run a business. Operating a business takes twice as much effort, especially if you are new at it and you're still working a full-time job. So even well-established businesses have their struggles from time to time. So, in starting ALSTNTEC, I had the pleasure to meet and network with a lot of women business owners, some of who were either brand new, some of them were well-established, and some of them are in the middle, just trying to figure out where they stand in the business economy and their industry. So I was amazed just knowing that there are quite a number of women business owners out there, because normally we do not know about them unless we see them on social media or hear about them through word of mouth. So I have to say that we come a long way. One piece of statistic that I would like to point out is that according to the Forbes magazine and the National Women's Business Council, is that the number of women-owned businesses grew by 93% between 1997 and 2015. Now that's a rate of 1.5 times the national average. And with that average, our businesses netted over $36.8 billion. That is amazing. So what that says in effect is that 30% of all business in the United States are from women of color, and 14 of those business, or maybe 1.3 million, are African American businesses specifically. And the states with the highest number of Black-owned women businesses is Georgia, Maryland, and Illinois. So I'm not sure if everybody knows that information, but I thought it was important that we, share that out to you guys. So, as a small business owner, I still face challenges of not being considered as a business owner, but rather a woman who's trying to run a business, if that makes sense. So the issues, that you face could be financing, seeking sponsorship or support from other businesses. And we have to do a better job of working together to support our Black businesses. So now I would like to turn our attention to our panel that we have today. I'm very excited to have them here to share their information. And I would like to start by introducing to you first Vanessa Fleeton. Vanessa is the founder of VAF Inspires, and she creates apparel that spreads inspiration through phases embellished in rhinestones. And I think that's beautiful the way she has that in her bio. Vanessa is also an author of Pushing Through the Pain to Pursue Your Purpose. She is also an inspirational speaker and has given speeches for several top organizations, churches, schools, and nonprofit organizations. Vanessa has a BS degree in communication from Bowie State University and an AA degree in business management from Prince George's Community College. Next, we have Norma McElroy, who is the founder of Norma's Bath and Body. Norma started her company in 2004, working from her home, making intricate bath products, and she loved it so much that she took her home-based business and made it national by selling her products all over the U.S. Her friends and family definitely loved her products, and she makes different styles and fragrances for all ages, and her products are considered one of the best that you can find. And finally, we have on our podcast today is Dr. Raquel Stuart, who's better known as Dr. Rock. Dr. Stuart is the CEO and founder of Sistas Speak LLC. And if you are an avid user of Facebook like I am, you know that you will see Dr. Rock on Facebook giving great advice through her videos, her posts, and also through her Blog Talk Radio syndicate, Bear It All. She is also an author of a new book, Audacity of Self, and she is also a keynote speaker and also writes blogs for the Huffington Post. So please help me welcome these ladies, Norma, Vanessa, and Raquel, to the show. Welcome, ladies.
Hi,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
So I want to open up this podcast to start with you, Dr. Rock. When you're running a business, what challenges did you face initially when, you first started your business and started going?
Only one challenge?
You could do one or many challenges.
The main challenge for me that I found was I didn't know what I was doing because this was my first time starting a business, having my own, and I had to find people who were doing what I was doing. And when I say that, I don't mean necessarily in the same forum, but somebody who had their own business and they could or were willing to help me along. I think sometimes as a new business owner, we kind of feel like we're out there by ourselves, just flapping in the wind. And we need to know that there are people out there who are willing to help you, help bring you up, help bring you along. And it does not have to be somebody that's in your same forum or your same business. Of course, finance was an issue because I had left my job and did not have a plan as to what am I going to do now. So I'm one of those people. Am I suggesting you leave your job and quit it and start a business? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that's what I did. And I put my faith and my trust in God, and I was like, God, you've got to help me. You've got to lead me. I know I left my job with no plan B, and our parents always teach us, make sure you have a plan B. I did not have one. I was tired of living my life with a plan B. I just wanted to know what it was like to step out on faith, and that's what I did. So the finances came. I had people come into my life who were willing to give me information, help me out without me having to pay for that information. So, again, a challenge was not knowing what I was doing, and a challenge is financial was also two of my main challenges for starting my business.
Okay, awesome. Vanessa, what is your take on, your specific challenge?
I guess a couple of my challenges was trying to find people that you can trust in the business, because everybody can give you everything for a fee. So it was hard, and I started out, I'm getting away from vending, but I kind of started out as a vendor, and I'm moving more into being an author and being a speaker. But when it came to vending, I was spending more than what I was making, so I was losing. And so that's why I'm very careful now when I sign up as a vendor, because you just, you're losing money. You're not getting back what you're putting in. And so now I'm kind of, transferring over to speaking. And so I have to find those speaking engagements. And I have to find, like you say, a group of people that I can trust to have my best interest, and that's out for money, and that's willing to, kind of sow into me and my it's a ministry and a business, and just be willing to help me genuinely. And so those challenges have been kind of not holding me back, because when you have a purpose, that purpose is going to be fulfilled regardless of what you go through. But it's just hard. And even when it comes to me having my books on consignment, sometimes, you drop off your book for review and you go back and it's like, well, we can't find it. Well, where is it? Or the church moved or the church split or they left. And it's like, then you have to try to fight them to get the little bit of money that you were going to get because you have to split it with them. So you're not making but so much. So you're kind of doing is get your name out there and for people to know who you are. So it just sometimes it's a challenge.
Okay, awesome. What about you, Norma? I mean, I think that's some really good, interesting points you made, Vanessa. But Norma, give us your opinion of your challenges.
Hi, Anne. For me, I've never had a home business. I've never had a business, period, and so that was a challenge for me. Just coming from a part-time job, I had a car accident and put me out of work. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I kind of just slid into making soap. But I didn't have anyone to tell me, where to start, how to start. And so I had to, I had to just dive into it myself, just go to the magazines or go to the Internet and just learn any way that I can learn how to get started. And so you have to push. And so I was in it for the long haul. I started out doing this for just, around for family and friends, and then my fiance at the time, he had convinced me to go online with eBay in 2005. So from there, that's just how it happened, and I started selling all over the U.S. But it's hard work, and it takes determination, and you just have to just put it in your mind that you're going to make it. You're going to have your lows, and you're going to have your highs, and you just have to keep pushing. And hard work, it pays off. I mean, it's been over 12 years for me. And you can do it. You can do it. But it's not easy, and, I didn't have anybody standing over me telling me anything, So it's not anything I've always wanted to do. If you had asked me this like 15, 20 years ago, I would have said, no way, this is not happening. But I did it, and I'm doing it. But I can't take all the credit, and I give God all the glory. He's given me the strength, and He just helped me all the way to make all these things happen for me. And I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world at all.
Awesome. What's really interesting is that for my particular business, if I had to give my opinion, I think I have a piece of each one of your experiences. So, Dr. Rock was talking about people who have helped her along. I think for me, I've had a few people help me along. And then, with Vanessa, talking about her point and yours about not knowing. I mean, I had like a little bit of each. And what was really challenging is that, again, with the money aspect, when you start a new business, you are putting out of your pocket a lot of times money that you think that you're going to get a return on. I personally had invested in a couple of sponsorships, which some reason or another was canceled, and now I'm trying to get the money back from that. But aside from that, that's lost time, that's lost marketing, that's lost, revenue. And so, how do, you kind of overcome those disappointments? I mean, any one of you can kind of jump in on that one and say, how do you deal with the disappointment when things are not working out? Because you got all this emotion, you thinking your business is going to get going, and then nothing happens.
So you build your business, and you put your products out there, and and you're trying to convince these people that this is it's some great stuff, and this is you should come to me or whatever, and it doesn't happen. And disappointments come for me from my family, the lack of support there. I just didn't get a whole lot of support, and so I had a lot of moments. I'm like, oh my goodness. Because you want support from your family. You expect that. Before, you expect, from support from family and friends, from friends. And so it didn't happen. So, but you have to keep pushing through that. It didn't matter of what they said you couldn't do. You just have to just keep pushing against it. Just keep moving forward.
Okay, Dr. Rock, I think you was about to say something there.
I think it was Vanessa that was going to say.
Okay.
Yes. I want to piggyback off what she was saying as far as the family. Because my book is a real-life testimonial book about my life, but it has no names in the book, I got a lot of negative responses from a family member.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is my story. You can't tell my story. Even if you were there, you can't tell my story, and you were raised different from me. And part of the time, you wasn't even born. Hello. So,
Oh, wow.
I know what happened in my life. And I did not make the book to bash anybody, to put anybody down, none of that. I wrote my book because I knew it was going to help somebody else. And I knew that what I went through wasn't in vain. And so I have seminars that are called Pain to Purpose, because normally our pain leads to our purpose. And that's what I had to look at. I couldn't look at what they thought, how they felt, whatever. And I know that most of my support doesn't come from my family, because it really never has. So I know that support is going to come from people that God send my way. And so because I know that I was put here to do what I'm doing, then quitting is an option. It's just not. So I have to try to figure out a way to, that didn't work. Let's see if this will work. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see if this will work. So sometimes it's trial and error. But, as my book say, pushing through the pain to pursue a purpose, I have to keep pushing, and I have to live up to that title. And every day I live up to that title. So it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Dr. Rock, did you have a comment also?
I did. As far as disappointment goes, listen, the reality is this is life. Life is going to throw you curveballs. You're going to be disappointed. You'll be hurt. You're going to have all of those emotions. The question becomes, is this something that you really want? Because, yes, as a business owner, they say, what's the stats? Your business isn't going to start really thriving until till after the 7 years that you've been in business is when it's going to really start to thrive. So disappointments are going to happen. For me, I was disappointed a lot when I started this business, when I decided, okay, I am going to now start a business. I'm going to do a talk show. I want to do a radio show. I'm going to do all of it. There's disappointment. But for me and for you guys, I'm hoping that you get to the point where you learn to find the lesson in your disappointment. And why were you disappointed? What is it that you really expected that you probably did not ask for? Because disappointment is never based on what we find. It's what we expected to find. So you expected something that you may not have asked someone for. So then why are you really disappointed if you didn't ask? And as a business owner, here's the thing. A lot of us, I know for me personally, I was one who said, oh, no, I got to keep things to myself. I can't tell anyone. Your grandmother tell you, don't let your right hand know what your left hand is doing.
Wow.
And in business, you absolutely can't do that. Your business is not going to grow in isolation. It's going to grow in community. So you have to tell people about your business, and you have to start talking about it. And if you want something, ask for it. But know this, will there be disappointment? Absolutely. But it's in how you bounce back from that disappointment.
Right.
In this, I'm just saying, listen, guys, it's going to come. You were forewarned. You were already ahead of the game because we are here telling you disappointment is going to come. It's how you handle it and how you bounce back from that disappointment.
Yeah, they say that when you go out and try to market your business, you're going to get maybe 60% no and 40% yes, but you have to make that 40% count, for every yes that you get.
Right. Well, here's the thing with all those no's. What you do is sincerely, genuinely, and authentically tell those people, thank you, because you just put me one step closer to my yes. So thank you for saying no, for bringing my yes a lot faster.
Exactly. So let's talk about some of the really tough things about being a woman entrepreneur. I know for myself, being an African-American woman, just in working for someone else and trying to run my own business, how often do you guys run into, the discrimination or the disregard of being a woman business owner? I've ran into that a couple times already, just being somebody who's been in business for 1 year. I mean, so I'll start with Norma. Have you ever experienced that?
I have. Unfortunately, I am in a town where racism has not left, and if any, it has worsened. I mean, it really has. I don't know. It's hard. It really is hard. But you just have to press through it, and it does hurt. But it makes me want to just pursue with what I'm doing, just going after my goals even more. It just gives me any more determination to keep, going on. But yeah, I deal with this a lot, and where I'm located. So just something I have to deal with. It's not going anywhere. Unfortunately, it's not
Right.
going anywhere.
Well, can you give the audience an example of, some of the discrimination that you faced?
Well, just seeing their expression says it all. I mean, they don't have to say anything. Once I tell them who I am and what I do, they're like, oh, okay. And their expression says it all. And they're like, wow. So, I don't know. I just think it felt with a different color. I hate to say this, but I think it would have made more of a difference. But I don't know. It's a tough world out there, and it doesn't really bother me. Like I said, I've been doing this for, since 2004. So, and I know I'm just as good as the next person. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to have that drive in you. And it's like, yes, I am a black woman. You were surprised, weren't you? Yes, I am an African-American woman. And yes, I have my own business. Yes, it's just me. No, I don't have any employees. I don't. And yes, I've shipped all over the U.S. And so a lot of them, their expression is like, wow, but it doesn't stop me. I just keep pushing. And I just thank God that I am who I am today. My dad had, instilled that in all of us. You just whatever you do the best you can. And we are just as good as the next person. We really are.
Yes, we are.
So you have to believe in yourself, because I'm telling you, people can pick up on that. And so, no phony stuff here. I am who I am. I love making soaps and lotions and all that stuff. And I love my customers. And of course, you can't please everybody, and you're going through all this disappointments and stuff. But like I said, just keep on going. Just keep pushing, and that's what I'm doing.
Awesome, Vanessa.
I can't say that I've experienced much discrimination. I would say that the cover of my book is pink, and that's just so often that's my favorite color. And I'm on the cover because I'm the author. But with my next cover, I probably will have a neutral color, and I may be on the back of the book, because I'm trying to draw not just women, because my book is not just for women. I mean, everybody has pain, everybody has purpose. It's for everybody. So I noticed that I may need to change that if I wanted to appeal to men and women, because I heard a couple of people say, well, I don't know about men walking around carrying a pink book. I never thought about that. And a lot of times it's hard for men to hear from a woman. And so it's not just, in the church or the pulpit. They've gotten a lot better with women preachers and teachers, but it's sometimes different coming from a woman versus if it was a man book, or if I had a man on the cover or something like that. So I haven't experienced too much discrimination, but it just when it comes to my marketing, I have to be careful that it's neutral, and that when they walk past, they don't, oh, that's a woman's book, that's a woman's book. What makes you think it's a woman's book? But the color and probably me being on the front of it may have something to do with it. So I think I'm going to change that in the future.
Okay. Dr. Rob?
Well, I haven't experienced any discrimination being a female entrepreneur. I think that in this time, because there's so many other businesses, like you gave us the stats, like 93% businesses, are women, and Forbes magazine got that. So I haven't experienced it, and if I did, it was something that probably wasn't obvious to me, but not at all have I experienced that. If anything, it's like, wow, okay, so tell me how you did that. And then with all that I do, they're different pots. So it's more of, wow, well, how do you do that? How do you do all of what you do versus, oh, my gosh, you're a woman entrepreneur. Oh, my God, I can't even understand how. I don't get any of that. And as I said, even if it did happen, I was totally oblivious because it wasn't important, and I just kept on moving.
Okay, awesome. I think in my experience, it's been more of, hey, pretty much like you guys said, hey, that's great. But then, it gets kind of silent, sometimes not saying anything can be the worst thing, because businesses primarily work on networking. and collaboration with each other to drum up more business for customers. And, when you don't really get that collaboration or you don't get that partnership, you're pretty much just, you're going to be finding yourself connecting and calling people to try to make that connection, making it harder for you, to get customers. And so, I do think there's still some level of racism there in terms of women business owners, even despite the number of businesses we have. And I think a lot of that is broken down into different categories that we all have a commonality with. But when it actually comes to, growing our business, it affects us in so many different ways. Some people can make their business thrive and they go on, and then other businesses are still struggling. So I think, sharing, your experiences and my experiences, for someone who's trying to, start a business, I want to make sure they have, the right expectation, of what they're going to encounter when they first start. I know for me, it was more filling out all this paperwork, and then we had to, shell out this money and trying to determine what kind of business you're going to be. I don't know how hard it was for you guys to kind of, come up with that, whether it was easy or not easy, So Dr. Rock, I'll start with you with that.
Whether it was easy for me to decide on the entity?
To start, yeah, to do this, to do your business structure. Because some people feel like it's a little hard to decide.
It was a little bit, only because I started out with the Speak, and whether I wanted to do a sole proprietor. I didn't know if it was important enough for me to file it as an LLC because of the type of business it is. It's a transformational movement where we empower and encourage women to live beyond their reasons and justification. So when I'm thinking in those kinds of terms, I'm like, well, I'm not really doing anything where anybody would sue me, so do I need to file? And then it was like, yeah, but what if you give somebody some advice or coaching and something happens to that person? I was like, oh, LLC, let's go. I don't want anybody touching my personal assets as Raquel Stuart. So if anything happens quirky and anybody needs to get sued, it should be the company and not me. Right. So that made it real quick, and I'm not plugging anyone, but I did use an organization affiliated with the Small Business Administration, which was SCORE, and they were very, very helpful. So for any new entrepreneurs, established entrepreneurs, whatever it is, look up the SCORE in your area. It's SCORE, yes, and they are very open, willing to help. They have attorneys who volunteer their time and will meet with you and talk to you. Just get in touch with them. They can definitely answer your questions. They have webinars that they host, all kinds of stuff. Do your research. Yes, people helping you are awesome and great, but you need to know the inner workings, and people are a boss or a leader, an executive, because more so than knowing how something works, they know why something works. And that, as an entrepreneur, is what you need to understand. Why, the why right. in your business.
That is definitely correct. Norma, what do you think?
Well, it's tough. I definitely agree with the research. Do lots and lots of research. Everything's through trial and error, and I don't know. Just for me, it's just constantly just research. And even now, after all this time, it's you constantly learn something new, and just don't give up on that. Because we constantly live to learn. You just constantly just learn. And so that's about it.
Vanessa?
For me, I did kind of struggle if I wanted to be an LLC. Now, I talked to a few people, and for me, I decided not to at this point, because I'm like, okay, I'm selling products. I'm speaking kind of, inspirational speaking. I'm not really giving advice or have products where I believe that someone, will want to come back and sue. I have an exchange policy, so if they want to exchange something, I just actually exchange it. I'm not going through all that. It's just not worth it for me. And so I try to just please the customers as much as I can. I haven't had really any problems. If I see later that I need to incorporate an LLC, then I will go that route. But right now, just what I'm doing now, I'm like, I think I'm pretty good. But people do have to, like you said, do the research because they may need to choose one over the other. And so you do have to do your research. And with the finances, my finances is coming from my account. I didn't take out a big business loan. I don't have people backing me or big sponsors. So it's coming from my account. And because I'm pretty good with my money, I'm able to, kind of dip into my own money to be able to push the business.
Okay, so basically what I'm hearing from the three of you guys is that, and for everybody who's listening to this podcast, is that whenever you start a business, you really have to do your research as far as your market and what you're trying to sell, and then determine what type of business structure that you need to be. So whether it be a partnership or limited liability company, or LLC is what they call it, or a corporation, or even a nonprofit, you really need to do your research, look it up. Maybe what I'll do is that I will post on the website, along with this podcast, some links that you can go to, how to start a business, what kind of structure you need based on your state, what kind of forms that you need to fill out, what the potential fees are. And I can give you the ones in Maryland and DC. The other states you may have to search in your area. But again, our speakers are pretty much saying you have to be able to understand the market, and you have to be able to understand what structure that you need to be, so that either you're going to sell a product and then you'll have your own policies, or do you want to establish a corporation or LLC so that you have some type of protection against if you should ever be sued. For me, I'm an LLC because of the type of services, and I want to make sure, just like some of you, I want the business to be the forefront. I don't want my personal finances. And, even with that, you still have to manage your own personal finances until you can get an operating budget. So those are the type of things that, you really have to look at. Can you really afford to have a small business, or just do something on your own? And you guys have gave great advice. So I'm going to start with Dr. Rock. I mean, if you had to give 3 pieces of key information to someone who is starting a business, what would that be?
Well, one more thing I want to throw in before I give my 3 pieces is a business plan. You've also got to comprise a business plan for your business. That's like your blueprint for everything.
Yes.
So my 3 key pieces that I would offer to new entrepreneurs is 1, know yourself. Okay? You have to have an idea as to who you are in order to know what it is that you want to do. Now, some people don't know. They know they want to start a business. They just have no idea what business. And I often will suggest a starting point, and that is there something that you do with minimal to no effort at all, and you enjoy doing it? That may be something that you can start as a business. So that's a part of knowing who you are, to know what it is that you enjoy doing. Okay. The second piece of business the second piece of information that I would get is to get a mentor. Most of us, some people in business are egotistical, and I don't need anybody. You do. You need people, okay? And you get a mentor, preferably someone who is where you want to be. Don't get your friend that's a mentor who isn't doing anything and they're just starting up in business as well. You want someone who's established and who's doing what you want to do and where you want to be. So the first thing is to know yourself. The second thing is to get a mentor, okay, and someone that you obviously respect, someone that is genuine and authentic. And that leads me into my third point. When you are going into business, you have to be genuine and authentic with yourself and with your customers, because if they sense that there's any deception, they may not want to do business with you anymore. So you need to always, always present who you are and be your genuine, authentic, and transparent self in business. And I don't care if your business is selling widgets. Be genuine and authentic when you're selling your widgets, because you want repeat customers, you want new customers, and you want your business to thrive and to grow. So my 3 points would be know yourself, find a mentor, and always present your genuine, authentic, and transparent self.
That's awesome. Norma, what would your 3 key pieces of advice be?
Wow, I have more than 3, but I'm going to narrow it down to 3.
Well, you can give me more than 3 if you want.
Okay. All right. I definitely have a plan. Do a lot of research. Like I said, you can't rely. I mean, I know everybody needs help from somebody. I mean, everybody needs help, but you don't always get that. So just dive into the internet, books, just whatever you can to learn about the business that you want to get into. Know your product. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing. If you're making Bath and Body like myself, or candles, or you're making baby products, knitting or whatever. Know your product. You got to know how to market. That's still a struggle for me, believe it or not, after all these years. But you got to know how to market. Connect with other business people. There's all kinds of websites you can connect with other business owners. They can give you some great tips of how to give you a little push. They may not tell you everything, but give you a little push of how to, they can tell you they've been there. They've been in business for a long time. So connect with other, you may have business friends who are in business. So connect with them, and they can push you in the right direction, and that helps a lot. So, yeah, that would be my advice, and lots of determination. Just be a go-getter. If I don't know, you'll really know if that's what you want to do. You'll know it. But you got to have that drive in you. You got to have it in you, and you got to believe in yourself. You just can't expect other people to put it in you. It just won't happen. You've got to have that drive to dive into it and do it. But have a plan, research, know your product. Got to know how to market. There's plenty of ways of that you can advertise your business. For me, I promote a lot for free. I don't put a lot of money into anything, but again, that comes from research. So just be yourself and love what you do.
Awesome. Vanessa?
I would say, this is part 2, I guess, from what one of the other speakers were saying earlier. I would say allow your purpose to lead you, because you need to figure out what you were put on earth to do. A lot of us have jobs, a lot of us have skills, gifts, etc. But you have to go, and the title of my book calls See the Manufacturer. Go to the manufacturer, because he made you, so you know why he made you and why he put you here on earth. So normally what you're passionate about, and like she said, whatever you can do with little effort, whatever you do well, better than anybody else, that's what your purpose here on earth is. And so that's why I allow it to lead me. I'm very gifted in finances, and I thought that would be my business. But I still help people in that area, but that's not necessarily what I was put here to do, even though I can try to get it in there sometimes. But that's not necessarily a business for me right now. And so I would say know your purpose. The second thing I would say, be flexible. Because if I was just sticking to those finances and it's like, no, that's why I was here, I would have never got to my purpose of being an author and speaking and inspiring other women and girls and, selling inspirational products. And it's good to help people with their money, but they need that inspiration. They need that. A lot of people are going through a lot in this world, and money may not be their issue, but they need that inspiration. Everybody needs hope. So that would be number 2. Number 3 would be provide good, excellent customer service, because I don't care what you're going through, your customer is your number one concern. So regardless if I have a headache, backache, whatever I'm dealing with, I'm going through, I turn it off when I sit behind that table or get in front of that mic. And when I leave, I may have to sprawl out and cry and scream and whatever, but they would never see that part of me. And not that I'm not being transparent, because I'm very transparent in my book, but when I step before you, I want you to always get the best of me. Whatever you need me to do, however, it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's just a matter of pleasing you and whatever I need to do to please you. That is very important when I go to different places. If I don't get good customer service, I won't come back. If I walk into a place you don't speak to me, I probably won't buy anything. I probably will leave. And so that's the type of things that get me coming back to your store. So I use that the same thing. What's going to get people coming back to me? What's going to get people to refer me? And it's me smiling and me talking pleasant to them, me giving them what they want, not me trying to sell them something they don't need or don't even want. That's not the type of salesperson I am. I don't hound them. I don't, I try to provide something to them that they want and that they feel comfortable with wearing. And if that means that I lose a sale, I lose a sale. But I want you to feel comfortable in what you're wearing. I want it to fit properly. I want you to be happy. And so those are 3 things: 1, purpose; 2, be flexible; and 3, excellent customer service.
Awesome. Okay, so to end this, I'm going to add my 3 tips that I would like the listeners to know as far as being a woman entrepreneur. First of all, I do agree that you have to know your person, your purpose, and you have to know yourself. And with that, you have to be honest and realistic with your, what it is that you're trying to sell people, and like, one of the ladies said, everybody has a gift, everybody has a talent. You're trying to make it your business, but realistically, can you make it work as a new business owner, especially if there are other people who are doing the same thing that you are doing? And so I want to set the expectation is, if you're going to start a business in the same line of work of many, many people, you have to, one, understand where you are in that and be realistic in your efforts of what you're going to do. And so that is my first one. The second one I would say is you have to really be diligent in making sure you follow up and make a plan and stick to that plan and make sure you decide what you want, because women, we do not always follow through with our decisions. We sit back and we think about it, we ponder about it, but we don't act on it. And we need to start acting on those decisions so that we don't lose the opportunity of, of getting something like a sale, or maybe being in an event, or being speaking somewhere. You have to act on those things that's coming your way. Make sure you do your due diligence to make sure that they're actual events so that you can take advantage of the opportunity. And then number 3 is just know the expectation that your business can either succeed or it can fail, but it all depends on your level of effort. So, even with my business, people are not just coming to me. I am actually reaching out to people to connect with them, to talk with them, and get them inspired, about what I'm trying to do, so that they understand my passion, they understand what I'm trying to do, and then that brings them to you. They're not going to just fall in your lap. So you have to realize your expectation, because if you don't do your level of effort, your business will not thrive. And so those are my 3 main, tips that I would kind of share. And, again, I appreciate you guys coming on the show and sharing information. And so what I want to do is take a few minutes for each one of you to share with the audience how they can find you, your services, or what you offer. And I'm going to open up the floor with Norma to, give your information on how we can find you and your products.
Okay. I, of course, make Bath and Body. This is not store-bought or anything. This is handmade. Everything's made fresh. As orders comes in, nothing sits on the shelves or anything. So you can go to my website it's kind of long, but Norma's, Normas, Bath and Body, and that's ANDBLDY.artfire.com. If you want to send me an email, it's normasbathandbody@gmail.com.
Awesome. Vanessa?
You can order my products from my website. Most of my products are on the website at vanessafleeton.com. That's VANESSA, S as in Frank, L as in Larry, E as in Edward, E as in Edward, T as in Tom, O as in Oscar, N as in Nancy. VanessaFleeton.com, where you can find my products. If I'm local, in the local area, I can meet some of my clients. I have no problem with that. If that, I can ship to them. They can also look me up on Facebook under Vanessa Fleeton. And most of my products are unique because the phrases that's on my shirts are from my books. So a lot of times what I sell you would not see in the store, and you would not see other people walking around wearing them, because most likely they got them from me, because they're unique to my book. And my book is unique because it's a life book. It's a motivational memoir. So you can check that out at vanessafleeton.com. Yes.
Awesome. And Dr. Stewart?
You can reach out to me. Email is Raquel, RAQUEL, at Sistas Speak. That's SISTASSPEAK. I did not run short of S's. So it's Raquel at sistasspeak.com. My website is sistasspeak.com, and you can purchase my book, The Audacity of Self, on barnesandnobles.com and amazon.com.
Awesome. And just so you know, guys, I will have their social media links on the website below this podcast so that, you guys know how to contact them. If you feel so moved about this podcast, please share it with your friends, because the whole idea of this podcast is to share information and to support our business and especially support our men and women of color. So thank you again for listening. Thank you guys for coming to the show and sharing your information with us. And we will talk to you soon.